Welcome into Seattle Seahawks today. I am your host, Tom Downey, here to break down the latest news and rumors around the 12s, beginning with some injury updates. We'll start with Jamal Adams. As I'm sure we all know, because we talked about it a lot here, Pete Carroll has already expressed optimism about Adams being able to return after the bye. That is this week. He did say, however, on Monday that no decision has been made. Adams has been out since week 4 with a groin injury. I still think he's going to be able to play. That seems to be what the Seahawks were aiming for. You gave him the extra time in week 6 coming off the bye. Didn't need him in week 5, week 4 either. I still think he plays. And if there is a bright side for Seattle, if by some happenstance he's not able to, well, Ryan Neal's played pretty darn well. You're about to get DJ Reed off of the NFI list in the very near future to add some extra depth. But regardless, you want the guy you traded all those draft picks for, plus Bradley McDougald, to play. Because he's an awesome football player, and as the schedule starts to get a little bit tougher, probably want Jamal Adams out there. He's going to thrive in the middle of the field and do the things that we've seen him do early this year, being, I think, the Seahawks' best defensive player, not to mention their best pass rusher and best defensive back. Now, again, the schedule does get a little bit tougher. I still think Seattle is favored in all of these games, right? I mean, even against Arizona, they'll be favored on the road against the Bills, too, and the Rams. I think they'll be favored in all of those matchups. But it should be nice to get back Jamal Adams and get that extra boost, getting one of the premier defensive players in the NFL back and fully healthy. Seahawks played it safe. I think he's going to be good to go. But, of course, I want to hear from you guys. Now, normally we just want your opinions. But I think for this week, for Jamal Adams, how about we all knowingly speak some positivity into the universe? Everyone type in Y for yes. We will speak it into existence. I'll make this the pinned comment, so get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no, but just go type in Y if you get the ad break here on YouTube. Some not so good notes here. Darrell Taylor, who, as we talked about when we first launched this channel, I'm concerned about him being able to play this season. Look, Pete Carroll says Taylor has started running. That is a good update since in the preseason, well, I guess training camp since there was no preseason, but back in August, he hadn't started actually running at this point. However, he's not able to do change of direction stuff yet coming off of that leg injury. He has not been ruled out for this year, but even once he starts doing change of direction stuff, I mean, I think you're looking at least a month and a half before he's cleared. We're already in the middle of October. Maybe he gets back around December, but by then the season's almost over. You hope for a little bit of a boost maybe down the stretch, but I am genuinely concerned that Taylor is simply going to have a wasted rookie season, and it's going to end up being a wash here. I am unconvinced he's going to be able to play this year for the Seahawks. There's a big concern since you moved up to get him. Clearly, you thought he was going to be able to play this season. Look, Benson Mayo has made some nice plays. I've seen flashes from Demontre Moore, L.J. Collier, Alton Robinson on various games. But you were banking on Taylor, and really Bruce Irvin too, helping you out in the pass rush spot. So once again, I'll ask you to make a prediction here. Will Taylor play this year for the Seattle Seahawks? Simple question. 1 for yes, he gets at least one game, and 0 for no. Now, whenever a final decision is made for Darrell Taylor, or if there are trades, one of trade rumors we'll get to that I like quite a bit in just a second here, but we'll keep you covered on everything around the Seattle Seahawks. Got a mailbag coming up for you guys. News that happens, rumors floating out there, everything around your favorite team. If you want more videos, you guys got to subscribe. Go hit that big red button. All right, that trade idea I just teased, going after Carlos Dunlap, kind of pitched by Sports Illustrated, I guess Maven, whatever they call themselves these days. Look, to begin with Dunlap here, I think it makes sense. Dunlap is unhappy in Cincinnati, has a reduced role. They've made him into a third down situational pass rusher. They're playing worse players over him, which is wild for me to think about if you're the Bengals. I know your team is young and you're rebuilding. It's wild to me to sit here and say, yeah, okay, Carl Lawson giving him more snaps, I get that. The Bengals let Amani Bledsoe out-snap Carlos Dunlap this week. I mean, what are you doing out there? Bledsoe got cut like 2 weeks ago. Does not make sense whatsoever. At least play Khalid Kareem more. Bengals don't make sense there. Because they haven't been playing him, I don't think the trade cost is going to be that high. Now, what SI put together was this trade package. Carlos Dunlap and a 7th go to Seattle. The Bengals get Jamarco Jones and a 2021 5th. Now, remember, that Bengals 7th rounder is going to be early. That Seahawks 5th rounder is going to be late, so you're looking at moving down about a round and to give up Jamarco Jones. I'm not sure it's enough draft capital going to the Bengals here, but I like the idea of throwing in a player like Jamarco Jones because the Bengals offensive line is complete doo-doo. Jones would literally start for them and probably be like their third or fourth best offensive lineman. I think if you make it a 4th, I think the Bengals say yes. It still might just be a little bit low, but let me know what you guys think. Who says no? C for Cincinnati, S for Seattle. Now back to Dunlap. Look, the production this year is down because the reps are down. Again, Amani Bledsoe played more snaps than him. What are we doing out there? Does not make sense. Last year, Dunlap, 13 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and he has always had a very underrated feature amongst NFL linemen because we worry about sacks, tackles for loss. I get that. He breaks up passes. If he doesn't get home, he's going to break up the pass almost every other game. That's valuable. Those are pretty high numbers for an NFL D lineman. So if I'm Seattle, yeah, I'm exploring Carlos Dunlap. Look, you're all in this year. I know you're light on draft capital, but go for it. Try and compete. See what you can do. And if it's not Dunlap, there are plenty of other edge rushers who the Seahawks would go explore. Speaking of other options, we asked this on our last video, and I want you to do it again. Now, if you already put your comment in earlier, I still got them. I'm just looking for a couple extra ones here. Put your trade ideas for the Seattle Seahawks in the comments section. We're going to do a mailbag later this week, all with your ideas because we're an interactive channel here. So scroll down and put your best trade idea in the comments section. All right, Damon Harrison here for the Seattle Seahawks. Look, I like where he is at. The Seahawks have set themselves up in a position where, despite interest from other teams, he has not chosen to leave at this point. Harrison has instead decided to spurn offers from other NFL programs or teams. The Dolphins were the latest team. The Bucs tried it earlier. He has chosen to stick around with the Seahawks. Now, Harrison, on the practice squad as a reminder is still working his way in to being fully ready to play in the game. So he's still not going to be active yet. I don't think he's ready to go this week. Pete Carroll said he wanted to see him go for an entire week. We'll see what ends up happening on that one. But Harrison should bring some nice added run-stopping ability whenever he's fully cleared and able to play for Seattle. 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, a down year for Harrison. But you know what? You're not paying him anything. He's not going to play as much last year, but that would be a very nice boost for Seattle once Harrison is able to return. I hope everyone out there is staying safe. If you're looking for some more variety in your face coverings, because we still have to be wearing them around everywhere here, go get a Seahawks one. A whole bunch of options. Super sale right now, up to 30% off. A couple of them, I think, are more like 31 or 32% off. They are all available, all these Seahawks masks you see, plus a whole bunch more, at chatsports.com/SeahawksMask. That is chatsports.com/SeahawksMask. I'll put that link for you guys in the comments and in the description. That way, all you have to do is go find it, click shop, and get yourself an awesome new Seahawks mask today. Another injury update here. Again, the common theme on today's show. Colby Parkinson back at practice just like DJ Reed. He started the year on the NFI list. Remember, he's coming off of a Jones foot fracture, had surgery for it. With Parkinson returning to practice, what this does is open up a 3-week window for Parkinson to practice before Seattle activates him, or I should say is forced to activate him or put him on IR. Now, Seattle has depth at tight end, but they spent a 4th-round pick on Parkinson because they liked him that much. Greg Olsen, Will Dissly, obviously not going anywhere. Jacob Hollister hasn't played a ton. Maybe he could be trade bait. Maybe if you want to go out and get maybe a Ryan Kerrigan, you throw a Jacob Hollister into a trade. Luke Wilson has really not been involved with this team. He could be released and then re-added to the practice squad. Seattle spent a 4th rounder on Colby Parkinson. So unless they keep him on IR, which I don't think they're going to do, activation is the path here for Seattle, even if he doesn't play all that much, which means, barring more injuries, you will have to have a roster spot cleared for Parkinson. We'll keep you updated on what Seattle decides to do on that one.